Hey, this is Michael. This video is the first in a series about troubleshooting object recognition issues. Object recognition has been the bane of automated software testers since automation began. Automation tools have come a long way over the years, but some objects still cause tools problems. First, let's ensure everyone understands the terminology we'll be using throughout this video series and how it relates to what you will see in Alchemy. There are 4 terms you'll hear repeated throughout this video series: element, object, action, and locator. It's important to understand what each term refers to. Element refers to the actual UI component or HTML element on the web page. Buttons, input fields, images, checkboxes, and other elements make up what you see on a web page. There are also hidden elements on some web pages. We'll get into more details on that in a later video. This button is an element on this web page. Object is the abstraction in the Alchemy test script that represents the element and may include actions that can be performed on that element. In Alchemy, an object looks like this Get Started object here. Actions are interactions that can be performed on an element. An example of this would be clicking on a button. You can see this with the click on action here in the Alchemy test. The action tells Alchemy how to interact with the designated object. So, click on the object Get Started tells the tool to find the Get Started button element on the UI and click it. Locator is the strategy used to find the element. Properties such as ID, class, XPath, and others make up the locator. It is all information about the element that helps Alchemy find the element on the web page. In this example, Alchemy is using the XPath of the button Get Started to find it on the page. To tie all this together, you can see that the action, click, is going to happen on the Get Started object, which is defined by the locator, so Alchemy can find the element on the web page to click it. If Alchemy is unable to locate an element, there are some techniques you can employ to help Alchemy to recognize the object. Alchemy has various tools and settings that help identify objects. A very helpful tool is the inspector. It is part of the Alchemy browser and is used to view attributes of an element. The inspector shows height and width of the element, its XY coordinates on the page, various other attributes of the element, as well as alternate XPaths used to locate the element. With the inspector open, when you click on the highlighter, then mouse over an element, the element will be highlighted in green, so it's easy to isolate the one you want. With many elements, keep in mind there may be nested elements that need to be inspected and captured. When you click on an element, its properties are locked in the inspector until you highlight again. You can also enter a locator in the descriptor field, click the search button on the right here, and if the element is found, it will be highlighted. There may be more than one, so you'll need to look for the specific one you want. This is a good way to ensure you are using a good locator that works properly to find the element. If you have a list of multiple similar locators, you can use your mouse to scroll over each one and it will highlight in green the one it is pointing at. When you find the one you want, you can choose the Select This Element button and it will lock that element into the inspector. Now you can set the site and the page that you want to capture the element to and click on Add Locator. Now you can see that I added the no license fees object in the site. Speaking of sites, a site consists of pages and locators representing elements on those pages. It's the repository of objects that Alchemy uses to find and interact with elements on the application at test runtime. Here's a quick tip. When you are on the Test tab, you can click the View This Locator button to quickly jump to that locator in the Sites tab. When a locator is selected, its attributes are shown on the right pane. This pane consists of information about the element and has several tools you can use to manipulate and test the element. When you click on the Test Identifier button, you see that the element will highlight in green if the element is found. The tiered element lookup list is a confidence-based ordered list of identifiers to act as a single locator. The tiered type increases locator stability and efficiency while reducing test flakiness. The percentage noted at the end of the locator indicates how much weight is given to that specific tier for identification. Note that you can change the name of the locator to make more sense. This will not affect the ability to find the element. In the tiered element lookup list, you can adjust the locator, including parameterizing it to suit the needs of your test. For example, I modified this locator to accept any state name so that when the state drop-down is opened, it can choose the state provided by the data. Sites is the first place you should go to begin troubleshooting when a test fails due to an object recognition issue. Remember, you can use the View This Locator button to jump to the locator in Sites. Use the Test Identifier button to see if the element can be found. By the way, it must be on the screen in the Alchemy browser for that to work. If the element does not highlight after clicking Test Identifier, use the inspector to see if something has changed significantly to break the recognition. Sometimes the element is complex and may not have been captured correctly initially. Usually you're going to want to try to fix the broken locator, especially if the object is used many times in the tests. However, sometimes it's easier to just delete the locator, then use the Add Locator or Capture feature of the Alchemy browser to re-add the locator. If you do this, don't forget to update your test steps with the new object. The Capture tool allows you to capture individual elements or extract an entire page of elements and insert them into your site. You can choose the target site manually as well as the target page, or you can allow Alchemy to auto-detect them. When you click on an element, if it is already captured in your site, it will highlight yellow. If it has not yet been captured, it will highlight green and add it to the site. In the next video of the series, we will go over how to use the object identification settings in Alchemy to help with object recognition issues.